Declarar que Cuba es un país que promueve el terrorismo no solo es falso, sino que nos violenta.
3 years ago, Trump designated Cuba as a state sponsor of terrorism. The Biden administration has kept the designation in place, but the rest of the world doesn't see it the same way. Dozens of world leaders have called for Cuba's removal from the list.
Rechazamos a inclusão de Cuba na lista de estados patrocinadores de terrorismo.
As have many multinational blocs, like the European Union.
Incluir a Cuba en la lista de los países que apoyan el terrorismo es una barbaridad y que no tiene ninguna justificación.
The 120 member states of the non-aligned movement also reject the designation, as do the 22 European and Latin American countries that make up the Organization of Ibero-American States and the 33 nations of the Community of Latin American and Caribbean States, CELAC.
The economic and political aggression, along with the designation of Cuba as a state sponsor of terrorism, must come to an end.
Por ser una medida manipulada, falsa y antojadiza.
Even the UN Secretary General has called for Cuba's removal.
The Secretary General expressed his disagreement and hoped that the new U.S. administration would consider rescinding the listing.
Cuba's designation stems from its role as a mediator between the Colombian government and the ELN, considered terrorist by the U.S. Cuba has been praised for its role in the peace talks, both internationally and by Colombia itself.
El presidente de Colombia, desde aquí incluso le dice al presidente Biden que ese fue un acto de injusticia que debe ser enmendado.
These demands are also growing in the United States.
You ask the intelligence community to write a memo, two-page memo, as has been written 50 times, about Cuba's alleged role in terrorism, and they will say there's none.
Former high-level officials, both Democrat and Republican, disagree with the designation, as do some of the largest U.S. cities, leading professional, religious, and policy organizations, the chair of the Senate Finance Committee, and over 100 members of Congress, including Democratic leadership.
It sounds simple, because it is simple. A state sponsor of terror designation should be about a state sponsoring what? Terrorism.
That's something that Biden can do right now. I mean, he can take them off that list. And I think if he did, that would be a step in the right direction, and that would ease up on some of the economic hardships that the Cubans are now facing.